just know that in Genesis, he's the breath of life. You need to see him in Exodus as the Passover lamb. You need to come to know him in Leviticus as your high priest. You need to know that in Numbers, he's the fire by night. And in Deuteronomy, he is Israel's guide. You need to see him in Joshua as salvation's choice, and in Judges as Israel's guard. You need to know that in Ruth, he is the kinsman redeemer. You need to have seen him in 1st and 2nd Samuel as our trusted prophet. You need to know that in Kings and Chronicles, he is sovereign. You need to have seen him in Ezra as the true and faithful scribe, and in Nehemiah as the one who rebuilds walls and rebuilds lives. You need to know that in Esther, he is your courage, and in Job, he's the timeless redeemer. You need to have taken time to see him in Psalms as your morning song, and in Proverbs as your wisdom. You need to have seen that in Ecclesiastes, he's a time and he is a season. In the Song of Solomon, he's the lover's dream. In Isaiah, he's the Prince of Peace. In Jeremiah, he's the weeping prophet. In Lamentation, he's the cry for Israel. In Esther, he's the call from sin. In Daniel, he's the stranger in the fire. In Hosea, he's the forever faithful. You need to know that in Joel, he's the Spirit's power. And in Amos, he's the strong arms that carry. In Obadiah, he's the Lord our Savior. In Jonah, he's the great missionary. In Micah, he's the promise of peace. In Nahum, he's our strength and shield. In Habakkuk and Zephaniah, he brings revival. In Haggai, you need to know he's the one who restores that which was once lost. In Zechariah, he is our fountain. And in Malachi, he's the Son of righteousness rising with healing in his wings. And y'all, that's just who he is in the Old Testament. Because the truth is, if you wait about 400 years, and you just flip over a couple of pages, you'll see that in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, he's not just God, now he's your Messiah. And in the Spirit-filled book of Acts, he's the raining fire from heaven. In Romans, he's the grace of God. Corinthians, he's the power of love. In Galatians, he's freedom from the curse of sin. In Ephesians, he's our glorious treasure. In Philippians, he's the servant's heart. In Colossians, he's God and the Trinity. In Thessalonians, he's our calling king. In Timothy, Titus, and Philemon, he shows up as our mediator and our faithful pastor. In Hebrews, he's the everlasting courage. In James, he's the one who will still heal you when you're sick. In 1st and 2nd Peter, he's our faithful shepherd. And in John and Jude, he's the lover coming for his bride. And in the Revelation, in the very end, when it's all over and said and done, he was and is and will always be the first, the last, the beginning, and the end.